What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Montana Method podcast one more time. As always, your host, Nelson Rodriguez Jr., author of Montana Method, coming at you live and direct from HQ, the Montana Method headquarters, the Scarface Mansion, the real Scarface Mansion. It actually just went up for sale, $40 million. I'll own it one day when it's not $40 million. The guy actually bought it for $12 million. Can you believe that? And he's trying to sell it for $40 now. Real estate is crazy. Things are so expensive. Anyway, rolling with the punches this episode. Just some stuff happened. No big deal. I'm going to bring you guys some value. It'll just be me and a special last minute guest that you guys will be able to tune in. It's going to be a fun conversation. Hopefully some golden nuggets as usual. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Here we go. Kick it.
I've been out here hustling all my life. Every day we get into it. Really out here in these streets. That's day and night. Like there's nothing to it. When I was going through it, dog, I never got your call. I never asked for nothing, no. But now I want it all. Promise I'ma do it. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags.
You're ready.
Alrighty, guys. So welcome. So like I was saying, somebody sent me a DM, and it's pretty crazy, a DM. And of course, you guys know I'm the biggest Scarface fanatic on the planet, right? And it's the mansion in San Benito. Most people don't know, a lot of Scarface wasn't even filmed in Miami. A lot of it was actually filmed in California. And one of the on-site locations of the Scarface film, of the Scarface Mansion, was the mansion in San Benito, California, the actual Scarface Mansion. So now on Instagram, somebody DM'd me this big, beautiful picture of the Scarface Mansion and showing it was going up for sale. It's pretty crazy. $40 million. And it goes to show you, that's why I love that movie, bro. It's so priceless. It's timeless. You know what I mean? It's just, I love it. That somebody's still willing to pay $40 million. And watch, somebody's gonna buy it because supply and demand, right? Like, if you're a rich dude who's a Scarface fan, you're gonna buy that house. You don't care about the price. Because if I was in the position financially, that guy could have said $100 million and I would buy the house. Because it's that much of, you literally have a piece of American history. You know what I mean? That's, Eli, would you pay $40 million for the Scarface Mansion? Like, let's say you were a billionaire, right? And you're a Scarface fanatic or whatnot, and you have the chance to buy them. Would you buy it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely.
I mean, who wouldn't? You know what I mean? That scene where you walk into the house and you see the red staircases and you're coming up, you see the fountain, and it's like, dude, that's priceless. To be able to walk into that house and walk up those staircases and turn around and like look at that balcony, see the whole scene, play it out in your head. You're standing in the spot where he had the final, like Tony Montana died. You know what I mean? That's what price would you put on that if that was an ability you had? You know what I mean? It's nuts. It's crazy.
I'd probably go like, I don't know. I'd definitely go like 50 mil. Like on that house.
For sure.
That's a badass house.
I wouldn't even bat an eye.
Yeah.
If someone's like, oh, $50 million. You could Airbnb that house for $100,000 a night. Tell me, bro, what rich Arab prince in Dubai would not pay $100,000 a night to stay in the Scarface Mansion?
I'm inviting you to a party, and it's going to be at the Scarface Mansion.
Bro, I'll make $10 million off of that party. Are you kidding me? Forget the Playboy Mansion, the Scarface Mansion. Bro, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Al Pacino will go. He would show up just to say, we're throwing him, Michelle Pfeiffer, Stephen Bauer, like the whole crew. I'll get Brian De Palma, Oliver, all of them. They're all going. They're all going. Imagine. Can you imagine that, guys? Recreate of, bro. inaugural party of housewarming party of Nelson Rodriguez at the Scarface mansion. He just bought it, and it's like the who's who. I'll make half my money back that night, in one night.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then after that, you could say like, oh, you could reinvent it and be like, oh, this is the last location where every known star from the film got together. The resale value on that house would be disgusting. It'd be crazy. And then you can even turn it into a whole thing, like produce it, turn it into. You could do a TV show. How about that? Like behind the scenes. And
But
then,
see, I wouldn't want to pervert it like that. You know,
Why not?
like because part of the mystery of that house is like, it's like the world is yours, and so you have to like attain that. It's an achievement, and the moment that you just give it to everybody, and it's just like, oh yeah, here you go, like here's the like that's it. There's no secret. Like you basically turn the Scarface mansion into an OnlyFans model.
You're right. Yeah, and it was exclusive, right? Because not everybody, even it's a metaphor in the movie. Like he got that house when he reached a certain level in life. Only certain people were allowed to come into it, like Manny and the main guy's his wife and shit.
You have to be the boss.
Yes.
That's a boss's mansion.
Yes.
That means something.
100%.
Just like when you sit at that table at the club, that's the boss's table.
100%. Yeah, yeah. The exclusivity. Bro, that world is yours fountain. Are you kidding me, bro? Like, I don't know if you've seen one of the default pictures on my phone, but it's him sitting in front of the mountain, the fountain. It's and he's wearing the clothes. You know the banker scene when he goes into his office? When like he's negotiating with the banker, fuck you! I'll take it to the Bahamas myself. That shit, and then he's in that outfit. He's sitting in front. It's such an iconic picture. I'll show it to you guys later, bro. The world is yours. I've always been curious how who came up with the slogan, because that's very relative. That's very captivating for anybody. Like, and that, to tell you the truth, that slogan is what locked it in with me. For the movie, that's why it inspired me so much, because it turned into this, like, bro, the guy literally showed up with holes in his shoes, living in a tent, and then he made hundreds of millions of dollars in like a year. The world really is yours if you choose to. I mean, obviously, like I always say, I'm not condoning the gangster life. I'm not condoning killing people and dealing drugs.
But it's the mindset,
bro.
Yeah, I mean, because he worked at that like Mexican or Colombian taco shop or whatever that even was, and he was like, bro,
que más carne ni más carne, so you're in a sandwich, man.
Yeah, he's working outside of a club, right? He sees
he's looking at the ballers,
and he's like, bro, it's the fire inside of him that he's like, bro, I can't work here. I'm not cut out for this. You know, I gotta come out here and I gotta really make this money.
Bro, and I love how he's like, and he turns to Manny. He's like, "What do they got that I don't got?" You know, he's like, "Bro, they don't have anything I don't have. They just got more money than me." You have to see it before you see it. You know what I mean? And he saw it before he saw it. That's so important. Something I learned from that movie, and people are always so surprised that I learned this from that movie, is conviction. You know what I mean? You got to be super, super convicted. You have to be convinced. You have to be that person before you ever see a glimpse of becoming that person. Like, if you want to lose, and I've been super huge. I saw myself slimmer before I was slimmer. Yeah. You know? That's a small example. I saw myself doing this podcast before this podcast was ever possible. I'm talking about, I didn't even know how a podcast worked. I had never been in a podcast. I had never been invited to a podcast. I knew nothing about the podcast world besides what I saw on Joe Rogan. But I saw it, and I said, I believe I can do that. And now I do a live show every Friday. You have to believe, you have to know that you know before you know it. Belief is such a powerful, we were doing some content yesterday with a friend of ours, and we were having a pretty powerful conversation, and sometime in the future, you guys will see what I'm going to get involved in and what we're going to create together. And he looked at us in the eyeball and he said, you have to believe. Mind you, we're having very big conversations where it's easy for anybody to look at that guy in the face. He's talking about making big money, you know, becoming the biggest guys in media. And he's looking us dead in the eyeball and he's telling us, this is going to happen. You have to believe. And it's very easy for someone to react and be like, bro, I don't know if I can do that. But this associate of ours, this friend of ours, has so much belief that when he looks you in the eyeball, he injects you with that belief.
And then he says, "It's yours to lose."
Meaning, you have it already. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's up to you whether,
Yeah. You're in the right path. You're going in the right direction.
bruh. And those are like that belief is what makes you change the world. You really do. If you have that kind of belief, and you, again, I always say this, vision, right? If you have that vision and you really buy into it and you believe it's going to happen no matter what, those are the people that change the world. And the list goes on. And I mean, you already know. I can list hundreds of people. One vision that seriously comes to mind that everybody thought he was insane, but he had a really crazy vision was Walt Disney.
Mm.
I mean, think about, he's like, I'm going to build the most magical place in the world. People are like, in the 50s? In the 60s? And we're like, bro, what are you doing? The most magical place in the world? Back then, what was the definition of magical? Like Snow White? I mean, he invented animated movies, so that didn't even exist before him. So I can't even think of what was magical in the 50s,
Walt Disney.
Mic drop. Think about it.
Bro, he literally created some of the most iconic just pieces of characters, and then the thing is, it's not about just the characters, it's the depth of these characters. Like, and of course that can happen naturally over time, but the thing is, he kept figuring that out. That Goofy movie, the not so Goofy movie,
oh my god, extremely goofy movie, whatever it was, dude. Yeah. Iconic.
That's one of the best movies ever. And let me tell you, that movie, it's all about the relationship between a father and a son. That's all what that movie's all about. The relationship between a father and a son.
And it goes to show you that there's so many good scenes. You remember the scene where they end up, it was like the dad wanted to go on a fishing trip and the son wanted to go to this concert and impress this girl. And then somehow through Goofy's insanity, Goofy's craziness, he ends up getting them on the stage with the with the singer, bro.
Yeah.
Like
his favorite artist of all time.
Oh my god. It's like that guy was, if I could compare him to anybody, he was kind of like the Prince of the movie, or like the Michael Jackson of the movie. And he managed, through his insanity and his goofiness and his craziness, he managed to give his son the best gift ever. You know what I mean? And that's what we're talking about. Like, he didn't know any better. Goofy didn't know any better. He just like, oh, all right, my son wants this.
He's like this out of touch dad that's like, he's like never really been cool, like clearly.
Even when he was a kid,
he was always goofy. And so he's like, but I love this boy. And
that's what he wants.
And he wants this. And
we're gonna make
I know
happen.
that I'm not good enough, but that's what he wants.
Yep.
Because that's how he feels. Because inadvertently, the son is making the father feel like he's not good enough. But the son don't know it.
Yeah.
And then it's later when he realizes, like, bro, like the whole time, like I'm looking up to all these people, and really, like, my dad's the coolest dude,
the awesomest
ever.
dude. Yeah.
Like, look what he's doing. Like he's
he's
hanging from the thing. Bro, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that movie is a classic. I could throw on that movie right now and watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah, there's certain movies that just hit like that.
Timeless. The 90s, for me, the 90s cartoon movies like Hercules, Lion King. That Lion King movie, I don't know if you knew this. In the 90s, full circle, staying with Disney, right? So Disney had the breakthrough in the 50s and 60s when he made Disney World and all that stuff. But then they went through a dry phase, and in the 90s, they were doing really bad. They actually weren't doing too well. But then, again, like innovation in the animation animation space, Lion King, bro. Bro, you want to talk about that's a classic.
No, yeah.
And then most people don't even take into account the voice acting. Matthew Broderick, are you serious? He's Simba, dog. Jeremy Irons is Scar. Bro, oh man, I feel so bad. I'm forgetting his name. Darth Vader, the Darth Vader voice. What's the guy's name? Mufasa. He played Mufasa, bro. Like, that's crazy. James Earl Jones.
I didn't know that,
bro. Yeah, because we're kids, so we don't know about that. Yeah. But then you grow up and you're like, bro, those are the best actors of all time in an animated movie. And if you think about it, bro, Mufasa, and then like it's so many
Hollywood was different then, though. That's why.
very different.
They were still creating dreams.
Yeah,
They were still like,
yeah,
nobody was like it yet, and so there wasn't anybody to really like copy for. I mean, you had Scorsese, you had like George Lucas, but these guys were so next level that you're like, okay, well, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna kind of keep doing my own thing.
100%.
And it was kind of grungy, and it kind of was like, but it was real.
Mm.
It was real movies. It was real Hollywood. Memento. Have you ever seen the movie Memento?
Bro.
Tell me that's not one of the greatest pieces
who
of art.
You know who directed it?
Of course, this guy,
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan.
Same guy who directed the
Who,
Dark Knight.
by the way, has a strong affinity for time.
All his movies are about time. You're right.
Always about time. There's
Yeah.
always something about time
You're
that's,
right.
that you're always on the edge. That's my boy right
Inception. Bro.
there. Let me tell you something. I was on a date with that movie. I was on a date. I completely forgot I was on a date.
Bro.
I from the moment that movie turned on, there was 2 movies where that ever happened to. Inception and the first Avatar. I literally stepped
Bro.
from the moment I stepped into that. It was like
Yep.
I was in another world.
Yep. Going full circle. Avatar, the Avatar stuff they made in Disney now. I still haven't seen it. I have to go see it.
Yeah, I mean the second one doesn't hit as good as the first one.
It's no, but that's
But
wait. It's not as good. You can never beat the
the
original.
first one is like
The original is always the
it's
best.
like when you realize that there's a God for the first time.
Yes,
You know. It's
bro, that's a great comparison.
it's
That's
like,
exact.
It's like
What? Check this out. So James Cameron, if you guys don't know, it's a quick history lesson. James Cameron created Avatar. He also directed Terminator. He also directed Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
This guy broke the box office record. Top grossing movie of all time, Titanic. Then he broke his own record with Avatar. Top grossing movie of all time. Anyway, and then Avengers broke his record later, but it took a while.
Yeah, and Avengers.
Yeah. So this guy wrote all 4. There's 4 parts to Avatar. He's wrote all 4 of them already. The reason he hasn't came out with all 4 parts is because he has to wait for the technology to catch up for him to create the movie. Like, how much of a visionary do you have to be to write something where you're like, nah, the world isn't capable of creating this yet. I'm going to put this. And then when I see that, and then I'll make it. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
That's vision.
That's I mean, a lot of people feel some type of way about George Lucas, but I mean, listen,
Bro, what he created is
bro, what
next
he
level.
did, I mean, it didn't even make any sense. Oh yeah, I'm gonna start a movie, and I'm literally gonna start on part 4. Wait, why don't you just say that's the first? No, I want them to know that's part 4. Then part 5, then part 6, then because
and part 1.
part
then
1, 2, 3 is too important.
Yep.
I'm not even gonna.
Bro, no, and then let's take it a step further. Then I'm gonna make 7, 8, 9, and then I'm gonna make all these spin-off TV shows, and then The Mandalorian, bro. Aside from all the controversy and all that,
Yeah.
the story, bro.
The Mandalorian, hands down, and Boba Fett. Those 2 stories.
The book of Boba Fett. Oh my god,
Those 2
dude.
stories, bro.
Yo.
But and then Andor. Andor. Let me tell you something about Andor. Andor is gonna be something special. There's something extremely special about that show. I don't know what it is, but I'm calling it now. That show's gonna mean something in the whole universe.
Yeah, for sure.
That might be the next Han Solo. That might be the next Han Solo in the grand scheme of things.
Going full circle. Avatar, they're in Disney now. Marvel, Avengers, all that record-breaking stuff, Disney. Star Wars, Disney. I rest my case.
And then X-Men. Look at X-Men. X-Men's finally becoming what they could be.
And now you got that Wolverine and Deadpool movie. I'm
X-Men,
looking forward to that.
Yeah, X-Men has forever had the best heroes. They just...
So, interesting fact to you Cubans, Oya is the original inspiration for Storm. For those of you that don't know, Oya, she's a deity in the Santeria, Lucumí religion. So, you're welcome. X-Men wouldn't exist without Cubans. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm not. But, yeah, I'm more of a DC guy. That's why. And then, also, again, I don't know if you know this. Going back to Dark Knight, that's one of the top 50 grossing movies of all time as well. And it's actually inducted into the American Movie Hall of Fame. Like, what they did with that movie, bro. And then, again, same thing, greatness. He broke that record, with Dark Knight Rises. With Dark Knight, it was the top grossing movie of all time, and then he broke his own record with Dark Knight Rises.
I don't think anybody's gonna doubt that the Heath Ledger Joker was the
The
greatest thing that
greatest
the world
Joker of all time.
and that's what the world needed.
Bruh.
Just even and you know what? And it's just amazing because Heath Ledger, like we all knew that he was a really, really good actor because obviously he was in really, really good films.
No question.
But the Joker,
Yeah.
I mean, wow. I mean, look, listen. When I heard that he died, I mean, I was just like, well, he played the shit out that Joker.
It was but it's crazy that he died after they finished. Like the movie was done,
Like
and then he died.
That's the toll. And by the way, he's a method actor for those who weren't aware.
So he became the Joker.
He was the Joker.
Yeah.
So don't that's what also made me respect the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. Because that was a different kind of Joker.
That's what I was about to say.
But that was like more disturbing.
Very.
Because it was more too personal.
Yeah.
But it was a Scorsese type of like thing.
This brings up a good subject that, bro, modern film is like celebrating villains. And I don't really think it's all that cool, bro. You know, because that movie makes you feel sorry for him. And he's a psycho. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. They're doing it with a lot of, like, for example, Griselda. Right? Griselda did some hardcore stuff. They're deifying her and all that stuff. And then you got, I mean, I can go on and on and on. You know, they keep making movies about, I mean, as much as I love Tony Soprano, you hate him. Like, you love him, but you know he's all kinds of messed up. That guy is screwed up. Super screwed up. The stuff he does is pretty crazy. Like, it's pretty wild. And how many people, that's something I love about film. The complexity of film. Stories captivate me. This is the reason, one of the main reasons I love podcasting, because I get to learn about different stories. And I get to show people or show the world different stories, different people, where they come from, what motivates them, why they are the way they are, all that stuff. And it makes it really special. The art of storytelling. I'm obsessed with stories. I really love like film, TV shows, books, comic books, you name it. I really, really love anything that tells a really good story. And ever since I was little, that's why, you know, it's a great story. It's just a story that stories really can change the world. They really can. A good story can change humanity. And that's what I hope to do. Just bring good stories, you know. Bring good stories that people want to listen to. And good stories that I want to listen to. You know, I invite people who seem interesting, you know what I mean? So it's just a personal interest. Storytelling, there's nothing like a good storyteller, a good communicator. I've said this before. A good communicator has the palm, like the world in the palm of their hands. They really are capable of doing anything, getting any result they want. And that's what a storyteller is. It's an effective communicator that captivates you, that keeps your attention, that you want to keep hearing, you want to keep paying attention to, you want to keep listening, you want to pay them money, you want to give them anything they want because you want to keep hearing the story at all costs, no matter what. That is what my goal is. So I bring good stories to the podcast so you guys can listen to and learn from and get these interesting perspectives. A second part of that is I hope to leave a great story with my life behind when I'm no longer here. That's going to be a great story, God willing. Aside from that, then we have where I have all the chips on the table is my comic book. Once I finish putting it out, the ambition is to turn it into a TV show, turn it into a great story. And that's my coup de grace. That's what I hope to really leave behind and what I want people to remember me for and what I want people to always remember, like, man, he made that great story. He made a story that no one could ever forget. He made a story that no matter who you are in this world, you can relate to. No matter what background you have, no matter what language you speak, right? No matter what you believe in, you hear this story and it captivates you, you know, it reels you in. That's really my goal. Just make a good story. And I've noticed that when people put their passion first and they love what they do, everything else falls into place. That's why I know this whatever you want to call this is destined for something great. Because everyone I've seen that's accomplished something amazing, all they did was follow their passion. They loved what they did. And that's what they just put first. They put that first and everything else fell into place. The passion for what they did, the genuine love for one specific thing. In my case, it's storytelling. In Steve Jobs' case, it's making the best technology for the world. In Walt Disney's case, it was making a magical place. In Martin Luther King's case, it was his dream. And so on and so forth. Michael Jordan's case, it was being the greatest basketball player of all time. You put your passion first, because if you're really passionate about it, you're going to put in immense amounts of effort. You're going to work and work and work, because it's not going to be work to you. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be something amazing. I get to do this. I get to be a part of something special. I get to work on what I love day and night. It's not a job anymore. It's more of, man, this is awesome. I get to do this. You know what I mean? And there's nothing like that. Being able to do what you love day in and day out, that's a blessing. If you're able to work on your passion, even if you're not making that much money, that's why those guys end up becoming so successful, because they did it for free for so many years. And they put in so much work because they loved it. And then it turned into something great. It had to. It had no choice but to turn into something great when you put in that much time and effort and attention into anything. You got to think of your passion. If you're a guy or a person or a woman who is working that 9 to 5 and you're working on your passion after your job, think of that passion in relation to having a relationship with a man or woman, whoever you are. If you give that person time, attention, if you give that person love, respect, if you give that person dedication, commitment, persistence, understanding, if you put all these things into a relationship, that relationship has no choice but to flourish. And it's the same thing with your passion. If you give it time, if you give it consistency, if you give it patience, if you give it effort, if you give it persistence, if you're tenacious, it has no choice but to work out. It's not going to happen on your time, not on our timetable. Because if it was up to us, everything would happen right away and everything would be easy, and then everyone in the planet would have everything they want. Unfortunately, that's not the way it works. Or actually, fortunately, that's not the way it works. Because through not getting what you want and through that hard process of it not being on your timetable and it being on the world's timetable, things work out. You end up building skills throughout that process. So, and I actually see our guest arriving. Oh, that's cool. So, what's up, guys? Come on in. What's up, brother? Come on in. Come on in. All right. Switching the guns. What's up, brother? Get him a chair so he can sit over there. Alrighty, guys. So we're live. Just have a seat. Alrighty. What's going on, man? Good to see you.
You're better?
Yeah, you're good. Nah, he'll adjust the cameras in a second. That's your microphone. He'll He'll adjust everything now. Alrighty, guys. So now, yeah, there you go. Perfect. Boom.
Pretty good?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll let him move his thing.
Yeah, you tighten it there. Perfect.
We made it, man.
We made it. We made it. We made it.
We did. Some technical difficulties.
Nah, it's all right. It's all right. We figured it out. That's what matters. Alrighty. So we'll give our team here a second to get adjusted. I'll give you guys an introduction to our guest in a minute. Good to see you, brother. Good to have you. Definitely. We're gonna get into some good stuff here in a minute. There we go.
already. I've been up since 7 a.m. So
Nice.
actually early. The first meeting was at 7 a.m. So I've been up since like 6:20 more or less.
Nice. There we go. All right. You could throw these on. They're right next to you. There you go. This transforms everything. Ready? Look. Now it's a podcast.
Holy shit. That's my first time wearing this in a podcast. All right.
There you go, brother.
Should I bring this up?
Yeah, yeah. So pull that in, and then
Oh my God, this is a game changer.
yeah. You tighten that there, and that'll keep it steady. And you want it like right here. Look, lay back. No, get comfortable. But you want it like right. There you go. That's where you want it.
All right, perfect. I'm new to this. I've only done like 3-4 podcasts.
No worries. This is your fourth one. So guys, thank you for sticking around. This is my new friend, Cristian De Bas.
That's right.
My good friend made it. We're here. We're making it happen. He has an interesting specialty that I'm going to introduce you guys to. He actually finds funding in a very interesting and pretty fast way. This is actually a subject I'm very interested to get into because most people aren't aware of it. And myself, it's not really a subject I'm familiar with. So I'm actually going to let him introduce himself here for a minute. Cristian, so why not go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
So first and first, absolute pleasure being here with you.
Definitely.
Man, I thought I was not gonna make it last minute. Had a misunderstanding there with
No
the time
worries.
frames,
We're
but
here.
I got like 20 missed calls, and I'm like, this gotta be the people for the podcast. There's no one else that will call me 20 times.
Right.
And then I was like, I'm gonna make it happen. So I switched out the minute that I had. I have a sales training now with one of my sales reps right here with you.
Nice.
And I was like, just come over with me right after the podcast. We'll go to a coffee shop and get it going. But I have to make it. I have to be there. So we finally made it happen. So thank you guys so much for calling me and for waiting and also for having me over here finally.
Of course.
And yeah, I'll do a quick introduction for your audience. I'm not complete strangers. I'll look at that camera. This one?
That one.
All right. Perfect. I'm completely new to this. But basically, I was born and raised in Cuba. And I came here when I was 14 years old. Since then, I went to high school. I went to college. And then in college, I dropped out after my second semester. I switched majors like 4 times. I was deciding what to do. And then while I was deciding what to do at a school, I had my mom working, right? She was cleaning houses. So she would come home completely devastated, right? And I would see that and I was like, I have to make something happen. I cannot wait for me to become an orthodontist or to figure out what it is that I want to do. And I'm always going to continue to be cleaning houses. So I was like, I had to start something. So I started my first business back in, I was going to FIU still back then. It's been like 7 years already. And since then, a bunch of open down. I was in a network marketing company. Then I was in the e-commerce world. Actually, e-commerce gave us our biggest boost, right? E-commerce was a thing that was like, okay, like we're here to stay. And that's where we started making our money. That's how I got into my current business, right? Which is getting people capital because we had e-commerce stores, but again, like I don't have like a rich mom or a rich dad I can go to and ask for a loan or money to get it started. So we had to figure it out how to get it started, right? And we opened an LLC, we opened a store, and it was like, okay, there's a way to go to the banks and get access to capital, even if you don't have papers or P&Ls or taxes, you're gonna still get capital. So that's what we did. And back then, it helped us grow the stores, the e-commerce stores that we weren't running. And then when we were kind of exiting the e-commerce side, which ironically, we're getting back into it right now with a new method that we found. But right when we were exiting at that moment, I was like, wait a minute, I know how to get access to capital. Why don't I turn this into a business? And that was about 2 years ago, okay, that we decided to make that decision. But I had been doing this already for 5+ years. So I knew what I was doing. I just didn't turn into a business because I didn't need the money at that point. So once I was like, okay, commerce stores are not doing so good, we're gonna jump with the funding. I decided to turn into a full-on business, and that's how we are here today. And like I said, we're now getting back into the e-commerce as well because we found a new method that's actually being profitable again. But this is my main business, and we're scaling. We have one of the sales rep right there with us.
Nice, awesome, okay. So this is a super interesting topic, right? Because there's so many people who want to start a business, who have a current business, I've been the business owner. I've gone out of business. I've gone back into business. I've been in every phase of entrepreneurship you can think of. I've been on just a sales rep. I've been the sales manager. I've been the founder. I've gone through all those phases, and I never once even really tried to get a loan or anything like that, because in my brain I was like, oh, I don't have credit, I don't have connections, I don't know anybody at a bank. So I'm sure a lot of people feel that way, right? A lot of people have that mentality of, oh, whatever, that's for people with money. I don't have money. They're going to ask for this. They're going to ask for that. So what I'd like to, first and foremost, let's break this down. How hard or easy is it in reality, for real, for a normal person who wants to start a business to get access to capital?
So it depends the conditions that normal person has, right?
Okay.
So it can be a regular individual. For example, I put Jose right there. He started with us as a client. Now he's getting into a sales rep position. But in his case, the expectations in reality were very high since the beginning because he was very qualified.
Right.
So you just got to make sure that normal individual who doesn't have a business yet is fully qualified.
Okay.
Because let's say, worst case scenario, you're starting from fully scratch. You don't know anything about business. We can still set up the LLC for you, EIN number, business checking accounts. But the last qualification is how good is your personal credit, right? Because the banks don't know anything about your business. You just opened the LLC 3 weeks ago. So they're not gonna be financing nothing to that LLC that's brand new, unless you do a PG, unless you do a personal guarantee for that capital that you're getting for the business. Okay.
Right.
So if you can do a PG, if you can do a personal guarantee for the capital and you have good credit, then in reality, it is very, very affordable for that person to get access to capital. Like Jose right there, we're already at 123,000. We're still missing about 4 other applications. But his credit is pretty good, solid. We actually worked on it for about a month and a half because he had to lower utilization of one of the cars and whatnot. But going back to your question, as long as you have a good personal credit, it is very, very accessible. It is very, very feasible for that. Yeah, accessible for that person to get access to capital.
Okay. So let's go into the second scenario then. What about someone who doesn't have good credit?
We got to work on the credit.
So the solution is always credit first. So if someone has bad credit, you help them fix it.
Correct. So I don't do that myself. That's not my business. I'm focused on the business funding side of things.
Right.
But I have a partner who takes care of all my clients who need help with their personal credit.
Okay.
And then they come to us.
All right. So, and I love that because most people think that just because they have bad credit, that's it, it's over, that they can't fix it. And obviously, there's a solution to everything, right?
Correct. So there's few solutions. So you have the credit. Step number 1, you can fix it. Number 2, you can look for someone that wants to let you do the funding under their name.
Right.
Like I have clients who bring their wife or bring their mom or dad to get credit under their names, right? So we do the full process. Just it's gotta be under your dad's name or under your fiance's name.
Right. Okay. All right. Cool. That seems pretty straightforward. Now, does it vary depending on industries? Like besides personal, as far as like personal credit, what's the other criteria that banks look at?
So besides personal credit, the main thing is that you have an LLC already open.
Okay.
Right. So those are the only main 2 things. So if you're going for business capital, you're starting out, they're going to look at your personal credit and they're going to make sure they have a running business already. It can be a brand new business, but the older the business, the better. So we have clients who they have, I don't know, their mom had a business. It's never been open. So it's never been reactivated. So they reactivated, they switch it to their name, which is, you can do it in a matter of a few days. And now you have a business 8 years old, right? And you can run under that business. Okay. So that's the main 2 criteria: good credit, and also a business that's already open. You can create it from scratch, or you can transfer a business that's already open to your name.
Man, that's definitely a game changer because most people, if you think about it, their obstacle when they first start out a company is lack of capital. So if there is a system where someone can gain access to capital and can gain access to 6 figures, I mean, that's, let alone any kind of capital to start out anything, it's definitely a game changer for sure.
120%. A lot of the issues that we see on people that come to us is that by the moment they come to us, they have already tried getting personal loans, right? We're just going to report on your personal credit.
Right.
They're maxed out personal credit cards, which is the worst thing you can do. Do not use your personal credit cards if you don't have to. You get business credit cards and max those out. It will never report on your personal credit. So take care of your personal credit as much as possible. Like my utilization on personal is probably less than 1%.
Hmm.
Okay, I don't touch them. I don't use them. So whenever I need to go to the banks, they look at my personal credit. That oh, this is beautiful. Even though I may have I don't know $50,000 invested with business credit, but the $50,000 they are not reporting on my personal.
Mm.
That's why it's important that you protect your personal as much as possible.
Okay. So tell me a little bit. That's super interesting. Was a principle I learned when I was young is that when you're a consumer, debt is bad, but if you're a business owner, debt is good because you're leveraging debt to make money versus leveraging debt just to get into debt.
Correct.
So
That's huge.
the business owner mindset of debt versus the consumer mindset is very different. And I like that you brought that up because that's something as Cubans, oh, no me gusta endeudarme. You know, no me gusta deber.
You're Cuban?
Yeah, 100%
let's
on
go,
both
let's
sides.
go.
Yeah. So we get, mi abuelo, and just that old school mentality of, oh, no me gusta deber, I don't like to owe. In business is very different. You have to leverage debt in order to make money. It's not, oh, no, I don't want to owe anybody money because then, no. You need money to make money. So borrow it, right? That Robert Kiyosaki always says, leveraging debt is the best thing you can do. You use that money to make money. You pay the money back and so on and forth. He never uses his own money. Why would I risk my money if I can use somebody else's money, right?
Where we come from is very hard, man.
Yeah, it's different.
It's a big shift.
Yeah.
I
Big mindset
remember
shift for sure.
when we first started running the stores. So we got business credit cards, and then you max those out. You buy supplies, and then when you get paid from Amazon or Walmart, you just pay it off, right? And then some letters will get to the house. I was living with my mom back then, and she would see the letters and say, "Oh my God, $40,000 you owe to American Express." She's like, "What's going on here? You in debt? You gotta go get a job. What's going on?" And then it was
Like,
hard for me to explain.
Mama, no, the money's coming in. The bar, yeah, exactly.
And mind you, I had just dropped out of college, so she was like, "I don't know what it is that you're doing. You're maxing out credit cards, American Express. What happened to your credit?" Oh, my credit is fine. That's on the business side.
Yeah.
We're using it to buy products for the stores.
Mm.
And yeah, there's good debt. Going back to your subject, there's bad debt, right? So, man, I've been doing this for over 5 years. The business has been running for about 2 years, and I've had clients that if I told you the stories, you'll be cracking up. I got people planning to leave the country with the money.
Oh my
the full
God,
9 yards,
that's
but
crazy.
Yeah, I won't disclose any names or anything like that, but
I hope not.
I've got all type of clients. Hey, you go to the dealer and just buy. Client just bought a motorcycle there with a credit card.
Bro.
Yeah, man. There's good debt and bad debt.
Again,
You want to make sure they're using it right.
There you go. Bad debt. So what's the mentality of the 99% or the 99% of the population? Oh, I got some money. Let me go burn it. Let me go spend it.
Let's go to the mall.
Let's go on a vacation. What do people do if for homeowners? You're very guilty of this. Refinance the house. Let's go on vacation. Like, no, bro. Hold on a second. Use that money for something, like try to use that money to make more money. And then you can pay that money back and now you have all this profit, you know? It's a cultural thing, especially where we come from, you know, and in general in Hispanic culture, like South American countries, there's no system like this.
Not at all. Trust me.
It's a culture shock for sure.
There's nowhere in the world where you have what we have in the States. Not even in Canada. Because I've tried to expand to Canada already with 2 clients, and it's not the same. And we're very lucky out here. There's bare minimum requires to get access to 50, 150,000. Other countries, I lived in Thailand, I lived in Cambodia, been to Europe,
Thailand.
There's nothing like
That's
that. No, you won't find it.
I've at some point in my life I want to live a little while in Thailand.
You'll love it. You'll love it. Yeah.
What part? Bangkok?
No, I was in Bangkok. On my last trip there, I made 2 trips to Thailand. For both trips, I stayed a few months. Actually, it's a funny story. I'll go back now to Bangkok. But I went to Thailand as, you know, I got on this mood of I just want to relax. I want to live in a tropical island. I want to be zen. I want to do my yoga. I was doing Muay Thai, being in contact with nature all the time, which I love. Like I have my hippie side too. Like I have my business. Yeah, let's rock Lambos and let's find people money. But also like my hippie side when just relaxed, and I'm barefooted in Thailand and I'm eating crickets, right? that's one side of me. So I went there looking for that, and then I was there for 2 months,
Wow,
and I loved it.
that's awesome.
I loved it. I loved it. And then I had to come back here for some business, and I was here for a month. I was like, "Fuck, I'm back. I'm going back." So I booked the flights back to Thailand, and then I did that trip Thailand, Cambodia. I finished in Italy, and then came back here. But going back to your Bangkok thing, I was in Bangkok for probably like a night. I was doing a layover in Bangkok, and I was like, I'm getting out of here. So a long layover. I got out. It's like New York, but like more like a third world country in New York. You know, big buildings, but you come down the building and there's people in the streets and the noise and the whole 9 yards. But I lived in a little island that was called Samui.
Samui.
Very peaceful, very beautiful. And I was there for those 2 months. And when I came back, I also went to the same island.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm a big fan of martial arts. So I've always been interested in going to Thailand for 3 or 6 months or something.
You
Staying out there.
will love it.
Yeah.
You can do the podcast there.
Right? That would be crazy.
You gotta fly in the guest.
Take the team with us.
Of
you
course, you got this guy's amazing.
Yeah.
He greeted us at the parking lot. Yeah, amazing. You gotta take him.
Yeah, I'll take everybody. Have a little setup in the gym, and interview like Buakao and all these Thai fighters.
Okay,
that'd be cool.
Man,
Be cool.
these people are in a whole new level.
Yeah, those guys have like 200 fights by the time they're 20 or 19. It's crazy. They fight every week.
I used to go to a gym. It was called Lion's Heart Gym. They were like this, the little kids like this, already fighting, right? They're already like throwing kicks and doing random stuff, and they have them. So you see how when you watch a movie and you see like these people practicing, just hitting like a tree or something like that. That's exactly how it works in real life. It's not a movie. They have the little kids like kicking
palm trees and stuff.
Yeah,
Wow.
kicking. So they have like sticks, like big sticks. Yeah, just hit the stick. Soft, not even hard. You start hitting. You kick it. You kick it. I tried it once. I never did it again. No, I was like, put my little thing on here. And,
my shin guard.
Yeah, put my shin guard on, and
That's
we'll
crazy.
talk later.
I have a coach. His name's shout out to Arena Combat Sports. My coach Carlos, and we mess with him all the time. We're like, Coach, you don't feel anything in your shins, right? He's like, nah, and he'll go like full force. He'll punch his own shin. Clah! We like nothing, because he did that for years. He trained and he would kick. And after a while,
It takes.
it does. But the nerves. Eventually, the goal they do that because the nerves die out, and then you don't feel anything here at all after. But it's years of pounding it and pounding it and pounding it and
And
pounding.
you can't stop.
No, but it's a good metaphor for life, right? Like you get used to what you expose yourself to.
I agree. You build calluses.
100%. So if you expose yourself to that amount of pressure, that pressure becomes normal. You know what I mean? If you expose the shin to constant pressure, constant contact, eventually you don't feel it anymore. And in life, if you expose yourself to constant pressure, new levels of life, bigger business, more fitness, you start working out more, dieting, and every financial challenges in any way you can think of, if you constantly expose yourself to that pressure becomes normal, and then all of a sudden you're a bigger, better human being, and then you do it again and again and again. Before you know it, you don't even recognize yourself. 10 years ago, for example, if I got a flat tire, my day was over, it was ruined, I didn't want to talk to anybody, God hated me and all this garbage. Now I get a flat tire and it's like, bro, I'm going to Uber to my meeting. Big deal. Like now, it's a small example, but it just goes to show you when you live life and you do these new challenges and you expose yourself to harder things, eventually what's difficult becomes easy.
I agree. 120%. It works like that with every single thing that you do. I can relate it mostly to the business side of things.
Right.
Because we had to go through a lot of different businesses to find the one that broke the ice.
Right.
And then through all those businesses, we build calluses, right? You
100%.
get used to more rejections, right? I just got off a sales call with a team, right? It was live. I was closing a brand new client live. It was there. The rest of the team was there watching too. And you just get used to the no. The client didn't sign up on the spot. I sent him the contract. He's gonna review it and whatnot. But before, if that would have happened to me, like you said, 7 years ago before I started, I was like, oh my God, my life is over.
Yeah.
The client said no to me on the closing call. It's the first time he sees my face and he says no to me. Of course he's gonna say no. He doesn't even know who you are. He just met you an hour ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So now just know that it takes time. You send him the contract, he's gonna review it. And if it doesn't sign up at the end, there's gonna be more clients coming in the door. So you build those calluses that relate to every other area of life. Family,
100%.
intimate relationships, works like that.
Now I see failure and like not getting results as part of it's a necessary step in that direction, that if it wasn't for this failure or this obstacle, I wouldn't have learned this, and I needed to learn this to use it here. You know what I mean?
You see what it says there?
The obstacle is the way. That's a great book.
The obstacle is the way.
Yeah, that's a great book. Ryan Holiday's one of his mentor was Robert Greene. You know Robert Greene? 48 Laws of Power? Never heard of that book? He's written the 48 Laws of Power. He's written another book called Mastery, 33 Strategies of War, The Art of Seduction, Laws of Human Nature. He's, in my opinion, and this is just, he's the most prolific author.
Yeah.
And I read a lot. He's the best, my favorite author, hands down. I can't even compare him to anybody.
I think I've heard about the 48 Laws of Power and then The Art of Seduction, but I didn't know about
Robert Greene,
author,
yeah.
no.
So Robert Greene, Ryan Holiday wrote The Obstacle is the Way. He's the author of that book.
Okay.
And his mentor is Robert Greene.
All right, let's
So
go.
full circle.
Let's go. Let's go.
Ryan Holiday also has The Obstacle is the Way, Ego is the Enemy. What a good book. Oof. Ego is the Enemy. He wrote another one. What's the name of the last one I read? I can't remember. But he's written a few really good ones. He's a great writer. Reading books in general just changed my life a lot.
Do you actually read it or you listen to the audios?
I do both.
Both?
I listen to it as I read it. So I'm listening
faster.
Yeah.
I have a friend that does that too. So in my case, I do way more audio than I do reading the physical books. But I've also read quite a few physical books. The audio is so much faster.
Yeah. I also like listening to the author as I'm reading it, like the author's voice.
The actual author?
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Like my book, most people ask me, oh, how'd you do your audiobook? Is it you reading it? I'm like, yes, it's me reading it. So that way, it's like, oh, the guy who wrote the book is reading the book to me,
I heard about your book. What made you write that book?
I got into some legal trouble a few years ago, and my life fell apart. I lost my business, lost all the money I had, lost friends. I lost everything. So I didn't have much to show for in my life anymore. And I realized that if no one would know I was alive besides like my family. If I was like, man, if I died tomorrow, like it's like nothing happened. So I wrote the book because I realized every great man has left something behind. That's what makes them great, because you can always be like, oh, he believed in this. You know what I mean? He believed in this principle. This is who he was. And that's what my book is. It's my kung fu. It's my way of life. It's what I believe in. So I decided to write the book because I said, even if I die tomorrow or whatever happens, the book is always around. You'll be able to read this book 40, 50 years from now and say, oh, that was Nelson.
I like it.
You know?
I like it. Let's go. It is one of the main reasons why you build as well this podcast and
100%.
you're putting in all this work.
To document the process pretty much. So one, as I was saying earlier, is I'm fascinated by stories. I love stories. I love getting to know why people do things, how they got to where they are in life. Stories to me are the basis of like transforming the world. A good story can do wonders. It really can do anything. So my fascination with storytelling, listening to stories, learning from people, and also second is documenting the process of me coming back, rebuilding a whole new life, and showing people that no matter what happens to you, no matter how far back you think you fall, most things are really just a setup, you know?
Your mindset is on point. Your mindset is like up there, man. I bet you know about Tony Robbins.
No, of course. He's
go.
like the original guru, you know?
You've been to any UPW's event?
I've been to 2. Yeah.
Let's go, man. All right. Man, you see it right away. You see someone with that mindset, you know they're putting in the work.
Yeah,
You're listening to the right people at least.
For sure.
Because you don't talk like that if you don't put in the hours of listening to that information.
Yeah, for sure. And just life experience, you know? So life experience, I think, is very undervalued. No, most people don't value. They just say they go through things and they're like, whatever. You know, it's just this thing that happened. Instead of breaking it down and being like, why did that happen to me? You know what I mean? What did I learn from that? Wait a second. That guy was interesting. There was something about that guy, the way he said that story he said about this. I could learn something from that. I can apply that in my life. That's what I try to do. Every experience I ever have, I believe we all meet each other for a reason. I believe I have a destiny, you have a destiny, he has a destiny, he has a destiny. I believe that we all encounter each other for a reason. We never encounter each other for no reason. I'm here to either learn something from you. You're here to learn something from me. And if you think about it, this meeting is going to alter the course of our lives forever, because you're going to say something and I'm going to be like, wow. And it could be something I implement for the rest of my life, or vice versa. I could say something to you and you, for the rest of your life, you're like, man, I remember that day I was with Nelson and he said this and I started doing that and bro, like my life changed forever. And it doesn't even have to be that dramatic. Just maybe it's the experience of being in a podcast or meeting someone who knows about business funding. It doesn't even have to be a profound lesson, but maybe it's something that you do that I start getting involved in. Just, we all meet each other for a purpose.
I agree.
You know?
I agree more with you. 100%. Yeah. That's why another reason why I do what I do, because I talk to people every day. Almost every single day of my life, someone new comes in. And it's not like you say hi to someone new in the street. No, someone new comes in, they're actually speaking to me, they're sharing things about their life, their business, what they're doing. And you do this for the next 5-10 years.
Right.
I mean, I'm already seeing it. Like whenever we need something, it gets done right away.
Right.
All our business partners and I, we're building out like a little headquarters, like a little warehouse. And we just put everything together in about 3-4 days.
That's awesome.
Right? Everything. Because we've been doing this for so long. Like we've speak to so many people that eventually you have so much information and such a big list of contacts of legit people that you can contact that right away you can build anything.
100%.
Like you building this podcast. I don't know, you do this for the next 5 years. There's whatever you need, you will find it right away. You need capital, I'm already here. So capital you have done. I'm sure you have interviewed people in many areas that you can just give them a call and you'll be there in the door.
That's another beautiful thing about doing this. You meet so many different people that happens. You build such a network that I know someone that does anything. I know authors, I know podcasters, I know people who fund businesses, I know people who are involved in the stock market, I know people, world travelers, I know cooks. So literally anything I could ever need is a phone call away.
Yeah,
you know
it's the best leverage you can have.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Your network is
organic.
Yeah. Your network is your net worth, 100%. You have to leverage your network. If you don't know anybody, or if you think, by the way, that's a lie. You can look this up. There's a research study done that 1,000 people by facial recognition by the time you're 18. So all the people that say, "Oh, I don't know anybody," you're lying.
I like it.
Yeah, 100%. So many, bro, all the introverts like, no, I don't know anybody. You know plenty of people. Okay. Now, do they come to mind when I ask you the question, do you know people? Maybe not. But if you sat down and I gave you a week and every day you wrote down 10 names, at the end of the week, you would have 100 names or more.
Easy.
You know? So everybody knows somebody. And I'll take it a step further. Everybody is within a few contacts of knowing someone important or someone important in society's eyes. We used to play this game in the 90s called 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. I'm going to explain what the game is. The game was Kevin Bacon, the actor. He played, he did Quicksilver. He did Hollow Man. He did, those aren't, Footloose. I can't even think of another, but he's a famous actor. And the game was that if you guess any six movies, somebody always tied back to Kevin Bacon. So you'd be like, oh, Will Smith did this movie with Keanu Reeves, and Keanu Reeves did this movie with Lawrence Fishburne, and then it'd be like, oh, Kevin Bacon. By the sixth one, it was always connected to Kevin Bacon. And 6 Degrees of Separation was a real book that was written, and they said you're within 6 contacts of anybody in the world. So I know you know Eli. Eli knows Gabriel. Gabriel knows the vice president of Bank of America, and the vice president of Bank of America knows Leonardo DiCaprio, for example, right? We're all within 6 degrees of separation of anybody in the world.
I agree.
It's an interesting concept, and it's true.
Yeah, no, and we see it in real life. We see it. Like there is people that got to me through somebody that knew me, that he got to that person through another person that he knows. So I don't know, it got to me like 3 people, and then if they need something else, like for example, if they have money to invest, I know hedge fund managers that I can
Right.
plug them into that I wouldn't have been able to reach without this step here with me.
Exactly.
And then that hedge fund manager can probably plug them in with, I don't know, freaking Trump, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
that's exactly how it works.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a real thing for sure. So Christian, tell me a little bit about what's your long-term plan for the business funding. Do you have an exit plan? Is it something you really just want to do long-term? Tell me a little bit about that.
So we're building to sell, right? That's the main thing. Even if we keep it, you're built to sell. You have everything super organized. It took me a little bit, being fully transparent, because we go from building a business from scratch to now having a business that we're funding over $5 million. We have employees. We have to do taxes, whatnot. So the main goal right now with the business is to first and first hire a full-on sales team, right? We're going to be getting now a call center right next to the headquarters that we're building, and then having a full-on sales team of 10 people as of right now. We already have 2 people on board. Then I make sure that they're trained, that they're getting paid well, that they know what it is that they're doing, bringing leads in the door with them, and then doing what we have done, those 5 million, do that a month. So instead of doing 5 million total, no, we do 5 million a month. Because I've done that pretty much everything myself. Right now with the sales team of 10 Christians, we can literally 10x that.
Leverage.
Right? So we did 5 million in the past year, right? Why not do that every single month if it's 10 of me? Right?
100%.
So that's a full goal. 5 million funded every single month. That's an average of 50 clients a month, right? 30 to 50 clients every single month. It's more than doable with a team of 10 people. That's a big vision for the business, and make sure that we have a list of business owners that we can plug together, that we can help out, and that we can always get more capital to.
So leveraged income is, do you know who J. Paul Getty is?
J. Getty?
J. Paul Getty. Have you ever heard of him? No?
No.
J. Paul Getty was the first documented billionaire in the world. He was in the oil business. And he said, I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own efforts. Why? Because if you're leveraging 1 hour a day with 100 people, that's 100 hours of work that got put in. If I worked all day, every day, that's only 24 hours. He understood the power of leverage. And that's what you're doing. You're leveraging other people's time. You know?
It was very hard for me to understand that at the beginning, because I'm like, okay, I can't do it all, right? I've been doing it for a while. Yeah, I can deal myself with 5 to 10 clients. Like this month, just myself, we're 7 clients, right? That's just me. So you think, okay, I'm 7 clients. That's not bad. I can do it myself. Why hire a team? Why hire people? So it took me a little bit to come to that realization. A lot of my mentors, advisors, like pushed me to get there. But now it came to okay, maybe it's not me killing myself to work with 7 clients and fulfill and do sales and do all the little steps of the business. You just hire that out, right? We have 10 people that are working for the business. They're putting in their time, their energy, and I'm not keeping 100% of the profits, right? I'm giving a good chunk of the profits to them, but guess what? Like my time is still my time, okay?
Right.
And we're doing 5 times the production that I will be doing just myself. That's how business runs, and that's what we're doing right now.
150%.
It took me a little bit to get there. I didn't get there right away.
I mean, that's corporate structure. You got to think about it. How many employees? You don't even have to choose an example like Apple or Microsoft or any of that. And even in a small company, you get a small local company, 50 employees, all putting in 40 hours a week. That's 2,000 hours a week. You know, like of work being put in, whether you're there or not. The concept of leverage is so important. But now instead of the leveraging that conversation that we were having, where you're leveraging other people's money, now you're leveraging other people's time, which is possibly even more important. You know,
I agree.
We only have 24 hours in a day, so borrowing time, someone else's time, is the only way to maximize the hours in the day. You maximize the hours in the day by putting This is how the successful people I've personally met. This is what they've told me. They said, my goal is if I don't want to do something, I give it to somebody else to do, and I pay them to do it. It's still getting done, and I'm spending zero amount of time on it. That's it. You take care of it. It's something I never have to think of for the rest of my life. Less brain capacity I'm using. That's another thing. You have a finite amount of energy throughout the day you have to use. I only have X amount of energy, and I have X amount of time. So I need to dedicate my time and energy to A, B, and C. D, E, F, G, H, I, all that stuff I have to give to other people. So if you own a business, the concept of leveraging other people's money and other people's time, that'll change your life forever. And it looks like you're on the track to do both. So
We're getting there right now. Yeah, ready to scale 30, 50 clients a month.
that's awesome. Cristian, it's been great having you. Can you believe it's been an hour, almost an hour already? That's crazy.
No,
Yeah.
it's been an hour already.
Yeah, you got here about
Man,
12:45.
I'm ready to keep talking. I can work for another hour here. Let's run.
My friend, I always end the episode asking 3 questions. So first question is, what inspires you?
My mom inspires me. The biggest inspiration. Providing for my family. That's my why, my biggest inspiration. I know I have to provide, so just looking at my family, that's inspiration for me.
I can relate. I was raised by a single mother. So my mom,
Same here.
she made a lot of sacrifices for me and my sister that you could never really repay, no matter what you do, you know?
That's what she tells me.
Yeah. Definitely. And it's cool because now my niece and my nephew, my mom, you know, they all live together. So now she's like abuela and all that stuff. It's cool. But yeah, that's a big motivation for me too, my mother, to make sure at least towards the latter part of her life, she's taken care of and she doesn't really have to worry about anything except enjoying time with family.
That's what got me here today. Without that, I wouldn't have done it. That was always my wife. My wife. My
Yeah,
why.
My wife.
Yeah.
Second question. What's next for you?
Build a full business.
Mm.
Get that telecommunication center so we can turn into a full-on call center, finally hiring the final 10 employees I was talking about, and get the business to 30, 50 customers a month.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah, I was thinking about millions. I was thinking at 30, 50 millions. But yeah,
One
5
day.
million. Yeah, 5 million funded every single month.
One day. That's good, man. Vision is very important, and you have a good vision for yourself. And if you get other people to enroll into that vision, you'll be unstoppable, brother. I can tell you that much. And then the last question is, how do you want to be remembered when you're no longer here?
I want to be remembered as the oldest person to ever die.
The oldest person to ever die. Man, that's the first. That's a Montana method first. Never had that question.
Yeah,
How old do you want to be when you die?
as old as possible. Yeah, I want to make sure I live life fully. I think my life is pretty full so far. I actually had. Do we have time to do a story?
Sure.
So I had this realization once after I was almost on like traveling and stuff. I get back to my house here in Miami. I was like, if I die tomorrow, I'll be cool. It's hurtful because of my family, but I lived quite a few things. I think it's a pretty full life, and I was probably like 2 years ago. So it's been fuller now, and I just wanted to get even more fuller. So I just want to live a very, very long and full life.
I listened to a song the other day and I had a cut from a speech. Like, you know how some songs find videos on Instagram or a speech or whatever, and then they put it on their song. The guy on the speech was saying, at the end of your life, you're not gonna say, I should have spent more time on the internet. At the end of your life, you're not gonna say, I should have had a newer iPhone. At the end of your life, you're not gonna say, man, I really should have bought more shoes. You're not gonna say any of that. None of that is gonna matter. You're going to say, I should have spent more time with the people I love. I should have gone and experienced this. I should have gone to that place and traveled to that and done that with this person. Experiences are what you're going to regret not doing. Experiences are priceless. Like experiencing different things in life, there's no price you can put on that. My first trip to Costa Rica, and experiencing the people there, the culture, seeing the sunrise and the sunset, going into the rainforest. I can't even put that into words. There's no price. But, like, you can't put a price on that. You know what I mean?
You know what's crazy? There's people that are in their 50s, 60s.
I've never traveled anywhere. It's crazy.
Never travel anywhere. Not even to Orlando. To see the parks.
That's insane. My grandfather, God rest his soul, he died. He was 73. He went on one trip. He came here from Cuba and went on one trip with me to Spain. He got here when he was in his 30s. He was like 33, 34, something like that. And he died at 7, so 40 years. In 40 years, he took one vacation. It's crazy. Not me, man. I want to see the world, you know?
Yes. And it's very small. It seems like a big place, but it's very small. You can see most of the world in the next 10, 20 years.
And most of us are very similar. We think we're different from each other, but we're not.
Almost the same DNA. There's
Yeah.
one little thing that changes there.
Right? Definitely.
Yeah.
Christian, so how can people connect with you?
So go to my social media, _Cristian the Pass, and you can go to our website at securefundingllc.com, and you can see all our information there. You can book a call with us. As of right now, when you book a call, you're going to be coming directly to me. So I'll be speaking to you actually one-on-one. Oh, sorry about that.
You're good.
I'll be speaking to you one-on-one on that call to get all the information needed. And if you do book the call in the next month, you may be speaking to one of the team members, because we're getting ready to scale, hiring. And again, you come work with us. We're looking to be getting at least $50,000 to $150,000 worth of business capital. Even if you have a business or you don't, we can set it up for you if you don't, and still help you out with the process. Also, thank you so much for having me here, man.
Of course, brother. Definitely, man.
Absolute pleasure. I relate to you a lot.
Yeah, man. This was a good conversation. That's what I say about the podcast. Like, people's stories, you get to learn about people, and you never know what to expect. It's pretty cool. So
I'm down to sit here again and talk for hours, man.
Definitely, brother. So it was great having you on the show. We'll have a feeling this is probably the beginning of a good relationship. So
Yes, sir.
appreciate you having me on. Alrighty, guys. So that was another episode of Montana Method Podcast with the special guest Cristian De Bas, your host, Nelson Rodriguez Jr. And tune in next week for Lisette Laveau coming all the way from Riviera Beach. Very special episode coming in. So tune in for that next week. As always, my friends, push it to the limit. The world is yours. If you are not chasing a dream, life is meaningless. And say goodnight to the bad guy.
Let's go. All right.
We're out of here.
That was amazing, man. That was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you so
It was
much.
good.
I can't
Of course.
believe it's an hour.
It was,
Wow.
yeah, just the time flies in here.
Every day we get into it. Really out here in these streets. That's day and night. Like there's nothing to it. When I was going through it, dog, I never got your call. I never asked for nothing, no. But now I want it all. I promise I'ma do it. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags to riches. Rags